PezKnits. My name is Presley and this is my monthly roundup where I show you everything that I've completed, what I still have as a work in progress, and maybe some sneaky Stashquisitions that I may have purchased throughout October last month. This is a bit of a late upload because I had uploaded another video for Fiber Frolic. More on that later, but if you haven't seen that yet, feel free to watch it after this one, before this one. But anyway, I'm so happy that you're here. I hope you're well. It is super hot here in Sydney now. We're like fully in summer, so I don't know why I'm saying that. It's just like I feel like I look sweaty, but it's because it's so hot. Okay, this one's a big one. I think this is gonna be a big one. I feel like I say that every time, but I think especially this one's episode is gonna be a really big one. So make sure to have a drink, a snack, sit down, relax. Check if you've been subscribed or not. If you haven't, please go ahead and subscribe to my channel. I would really appreciate that. And thank you to my current subscribers. I'm really happy that you're here. Okay, I'm gonna start with finished objects, and I'm gonna start in chronological order, like what I completed first in the month. And this one is my first one. This is the Mindless sweater by Mindless Knits. And I had this as a whip for a while, and I was able to finish it off last month, and I think it turned out so cute. I'm obsessed with like this color blocking. I think it makes it look really like sophisticated. This is just something that I made for fun. I don't have really anyone in my life that this would fit. I initially was going to donate it, but then as I was making it, I was like, this is so adorable. I want to keep it for myself. And by myself, I mean my future children, like obviously not for me. So I think I'm going to end up keeping this one because it's so adorable. I'm really happy with this one. The Mindless sweater. And it is truly a mindless sweater. Like I 100% recommend this pattern because it's super easy and it's super quick. I took a while knitting it because I'm just like got distracted way too many times, but it's really simple, really mindless, and it's a free pattern on Ravelry, so I really recommend. So that was my first finished object. That was like really early on. I actually had to check my previous monthly roundup to see if I had finished it in the last one, but I didn't. So I was like, oh, I must have finished this right after I filmed that episode or something. It's been around for ages. Now, these two you would have not even seen before. I just like knit these up really quickly with some like scraps that I had left over. My friend's sister recently had twin baby girls and they are adorable. So I quickly went ahead and knit up some little beanies for them. This is the first one that I finished. How cute is this? This was just some leftover sock yarn that I had. People, if you've been here before, you might recognize this yarn. I had knitted a pair of socks from this. So this is the leftovers from the pair of socks that I had knitted. And then this is like a mini skein, and same with this one. But I crocheted this little flower. Isn't that so cute? I literally shocked myself after I crocheted that flower because I'm like, that is just too adorable. And then I sewed it onto the beanie. So cute. The name of this pattern escapes me, but it's really nice. It's like a premature pattern, like for premature babies. The decreases on the crown of the hat is like really good. I'm trying to like position it so I can show you. I love it when hats have decreases like that. That creates like a spiral at the top of the head, and it's not so like scrunched up. I don't really like beanies when it's like you like tie it off and like pull through all the like the stitches, and then it's just like all bunched up on your head. But this one, it's like has these beautiful decreases at the top of the head. I'm trying to cover up my face so you can see it. So that turned out really good. I feel like because of the variegated yarn, it like turned out so nice. Okay, and then for the second one. The second one, I'm trying to decide which one I like better, but I honestly like them equally. So this is the exact same pattern. The only difference is like the yarn colors, obviously. And I also crocheted this little butterfly. And I'll put down below the tutorials I used for the flower and the butterfly. The butterfly, like, wow. As soon as I saw it, I was like, let's try and crochet the butterfly. But if we can't do it, then it's fine. But I ended up crocheting the butterfly. And I don't know if you can see, but it's like has little built-in antennae for like the butterfly. How cute is that? I'll put the tutorials down below. And so this yarn, again, this is just some leftover stock yarn in my stash. I've had this for so long. I don't think I've ever actually knitted like a proper project with it. It's just always been in my stash and I've just been using it up here and there. And so I have no idea where this yarn is from. But it's like self-striping, as you can see. It turned out really cool. And then this floral orange is from a mini skein that I got at the Winter Yarn Festival like a couple of months ago. And then this yellow is like just like something like the tiniest little ball of yellow that I have from my stash. And literally I knitted both of these up, I think in total in like 2 days. Like I knitted this beanie in one day and then this in one day. And then I think the crocheted flowers and stuff like was a little bit extra, but honestly it didn't take any time at all. I love baby clothes. They never take that much yarn and the results are just so adorable. I cannot. It's so cute. So I need to mail this to them. And I also have to actually wash them. I'm going to give them a little bit of a wash and block. So just so that they lay a bit flat. I think you can see that they're like puckering a little bit outwards. See? So I think if I block them, maybe they'll lay a bit flatter and maybe get a little bit bigger. But yeah, so adorable. Literally so adorable. So cute. And I recommend the pattern. Again, hopefully I put that on screen because I cannot remember what the pattern was called. Okay, and my final finished object. Can you believe there's been this many? I told you there was a lot going on this one. So if you haven't seen my Fiber Frolic video, I had purchased a Lucky Dip from Fiber Lily. And they were all like wrapped up in black paper so you couldn't see what it was. So I just like randomly picked from the box and I took it out and then I unwrapped it in that video. My finished object uses that yarn. Okay, you ready? Here it is. So it's a beanie. And this one, I think it's called the Spring Forward Beanie. It's spring something for sure. And this beanie, like, how bad am I that as soon as I got a skein, I just like used it straight away and knitted it up, even though I've got like a million whips like lying around. I just couldn't help myself. As soon as I opened that mystery, like the Lucky Dip, and I saw this color, I was like, this would make such a great hat. And so I just couldn't help myself and I knitted this hat. And here, I'll put it on for you. I'm wearing a claw clip, so it might be a little bit hard. Oh, and put it over my claw clip. I look like an egg because I have no hair. My hair isn't out. But like, isn't that cute? Like, the pattern's really interesting because it's like, oh, is my hair all messed up now? Not really. Okay. It's like, number one is the twisted rib, what is this called? Like the twisted rib ribbing at the bottom of the hat. And I love twisted rib. I just love twisted rib, so that was great. And also, this pattern, which looks like a really interesting rib, it's like really interesting. Like, it's not a rib because you're not like knit purl, or like, you know, it's like you purl and knit in these ridges alternatively. So on one round you're knitting it and then the next round you're purling it, and it sounds complicated, but the actual pattern itself, like once you get to this part, is really memorizable. Like, you can remember it. Like, I'm not the biggest fan of patterns where you need to keep looking at it, especially like with a hat. Like, I don't want it to be so complicated that I can't like just sit there on the sofa and do it. And it sounds like it would be complicated, but it really isn't. And it's, again, it's a free pattern. Springvale? I think it's Springvale Beanie. Anyway, I'll put it on screen. The only thing is that, what do you remember what I said before with the crown decreases on this hat, how it has like this nice pattern? This one, it's okay, like, but see, I'm not smart enough to figure out another way to do the crown decreases, so I just follow what the pattern says. But if you look at the top of the beanie, Can you see that it's like scrunched a little bit? And you can't really tell when it's on your head, obviously, but these are just like these weird, like nitpicky things, mind the pun, that like I notice and I'm not the biggest fan of. But it's whatever, like it's fine. And I feel like I actually haven't blocked this, so maybe once I block it, it will look a little bit better. But I'm not the biggest fan of how it's like a bit scrunched up on the top of the head. I like it when there's like really clean decreases and it sits flat on your head rather than like a little bit scrunched up at the top. Oh my god, I'm just noticing my hair. There we go. But yeah, I love how this turned out. I pumped this out in 2 days. I literally finished it like this week. I'm filming this on a Saturday. I finished this week and I literally couldn't believe it. I was like, but that's like the wonders of DK yarn, right? You just like pump things out. It's so quick and thick. So it's like you finish things super quickly. So that's really cute. Okay, moving on to whips. I'm like lost for words because I don't even know where to start. I think I'll start with what I was just talking about. So that hat, I showed my mom and she was like, I want one. Because they're going on holiday and they need like beanies and stuff like that on their holiday. And I had some leftover yarn from that mystery skein and I was like, I might as well use it because it's like a weird amount. Like I'm never going to be able to use it for like a project like by itself, so I might as well knit another beanie. It's like a perfect one to just get rid of. And so I'm knitting the exact same beanie but in different colors. This red is from my sweater, which I'm going to show you after. And yeah, I had like a full skein left over that I just needed for the collar. And so I was like, I don't need this much for this sweater. So I just like wound it up a little bit and then snipped it and then like started knitting this. And the difference between this one and the one that that's finished is that I made the brim slightly longer. Where they're going, it's going to be like really cold. So my intention was that like she would be able to fold it over for like extra warmth. And also I like wanted to get rid of this pink yarn. I'm like, I'm just going to keep doing the bottom rib until it's gone and then I'll start with the hat. But yeah, I feel like this pink and red combination was like really in at one point. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about, but there was lots of like dresses and shoes and purses and things like that was like this exact pink and red combination. So that's what it kind of reminded me of. And also this has like red speckles in it. So it was like match made in heaven. I was like, oh my god, how lucky is it that I had like this red yarn lying around for another project. And they like match perfectly. So I think that's going to be so cute. And I'll show you how much yarn I have. Like I think this is like, it's looking so flat because I just piled all of my whips onto it. But I think this is like, I don't know how much this is, but it's like plenty. It's plenty. And I'm happy to get rid of it because it's like one DK skein. Like, what am I going to do with that? So I'm happy that I'm able to knit someone a nice hat and they'll actually use it. Okay, well, I might as well talk about that sweater that I was just talking about. I feel like that's a good segue. So the progress on this is okay. So last time you saw this, I had just started the collar and I've completed the collar on this shirt. So this is the Haru V-neck by Soop Knits. And I have it in this project bag that I bought ages ago from the Country Women's Association. I got this for like $6. How cute is that? It's strawberries and these little strawberry buttons. And then this is for where you want to like put, this is what you put pins in, but I don't sew, so I don't use that. But I think that's a cute little accessory. And I've been putting it in here because it's such a large project. And this is like quite a hefty, like a large project bag. And it's like color coordinated. Strawberries and like a red sweater in it. Anyway, I was like totally obsessed with that. And that's probably why I've kept it in this bag this whole time. I haven't really worked on it that much. I could have finished it, but again, it's just like so hot. And I said before in my last video when I was talking about this sweater, like, I'm not going to be able to wear it when I finish it because it's so freaking hot here. So it's like, what's the point of me finishing it like so quickly? I might as well just wait. Anyway, so I finished the collar. That's what you're seeing now. So it's kind of hard because it's all one color. But do you see this whole ribbing, twisted rib? That's what I've completed. And the reason why I was able to like snip it and use that red yarn for the beanie is because I just need to, oh no, I've dropped it. I just need to do a tubular cast off of this collar. And then you sew it down here to give like a crossover effect. I'm not like showing it very well. I'll put like a picture here so you can see what I'm talking about. But like it like crosses over into a V-neck, and you need to like sew it on the bottom part here, which I have. This part here. It's really hard to see. I'm so sorry. But like, this is so close to being finished. But honestly, when I snipped it, look how much I like left. It's like a ball in itself, because I'm worried that like, maybe I didn't knit it long enough, but I'm pretty sure I did. I measured it, and I think it's okay. And it's all like scrunched up because these needles are so short as well. So I think that's why it's like not looking right when I like push it this way. It's because of the needles. I'm sure it will be fine, but that's going to be... My sister's like obsessed with this sweater. Every time she's like, what's that red sweater? Have you finished it? Like blah, blah, blah. And like, how could she not be obsessed? Because like, look at this color. This color is insane. Like, crazy. I love it. I love it. As soon as like it starts getting cold again, I'll definitely finish it before autumn. I literally had to think about the seasons. I literally cannot. Putting it back in my strawberry bag. Cute. Okay, next. Okay, so you saw this before. So this is my, I think it's called Horizon cardigan, and it is one of those hexagon cardigans. And so I was able to finish the first half of it. And like, mind you, I'm not really being that crazy about measurements. Like, I just kind of like did it until I felt it looked right. I'm not the biggest fan of the sleeve because it's just like one width, if that makes sense. It's gonna, I don't know. We'll see. I'm just like trusting the process. I'm like used to doing like decreases to shape the sleeves and stuff. But I guess it'll be like more like a kimono-ish, if you know what I'm talking about, like, you know, like those kimonos, not the Japanese ones, but like the kimono style cardigan where it's kind of has like a big wide sleeve. I feel like it's going to be like that. And so I finished the first half and I started the second half. I'm nowhere near even close to finishing it. Oh my God, I'm so bad with this crochet stuff. I just like throw it all over the place and like, it like unravels, and it's not like knitting. Like, I feel like if crochet just starts unraveling, it's not that big of a deal. So the little baby half. So you see, I'm not even close to getting the second half done. But yeah, that's going strong. I'm obsessed with the yarn. Like, it's like this is what I got from Spotlight, which is just like a craft store, and it was just like a bulk bag of unbranded yarn that they put on clearance because it's like an overstock or something. And I just thought it was so interesting, and then I bought it, and then I found this cardigan pattern, and I thought that would look really good. So, and I feel like it's turning out really well. It's like quite a thick, it's like a very thick material, so it's definitely going to be like quite a heavy cardigan. Let's keep this train rolling. I've actually got 3 more things. Oh my gosh. Okay, this is a bit of a silly one. So I had purchased a couple of mini skeins from Fiber Frolic. I showed this one off in particular in my previous video, and I couldn't help myself. I was looking at it and I said, I'm going to add it to my memory blanket, which is the whole reason why I'm buying mini skeins, so I can add it to my memory blanket. Here it is. This is the Cosiest memory, and this is the mini skein that I'm talking about. And this is from 24 Mile Hollow Yarn Co. And they are a yarn dyer based in the Blue Mountains, which is where I grew up. So it was nice that I was able to support her, even though it was like one mini skein. But I love it. Like, look how pretty it is. And I feel like I was saying in my previous video, it's like my memory blanket is looking like a circus blanket because it's like the colors are like so out there and crazy. So I purchased this mini skein to kind of like give it a more sophisticated, at least one square is going to be like a sophisticated, like calm colorway. not like the slur orange that I have. I love it, by the way. Like, I'm not like bagging it because I don't love it. Like, I do love it, but I feel like circus blanket is an accurate description of what I've got going on here. Yes. That's coming along. I'm trying to figure out when I need to stop in terms of width. I have a fantasy that this will be like a bedspread cover. Like, so it will be big enough to cover a bed. But I'm like, okay, let's get real. Like, it can't be that big because then I'll like die before I finish it. So I think maybe I'll do it a little bit longer. Maybe a single bed. I feel like a single bed is like more realistic. I'll have to see what the dimensions of a single bed is and see if this is enough. Yeah, not like I have a queen size bed. I can't make it so big that it would cover a queen size bed. I think that's insane and it would take forever. So the next one here, I actually forgot to show as like a Stashquisition in one of my previous videos, and I was like kicking myself because the packaging was so cute. I wonder if I can find a picture of it on the internet. I'll put it like here. But this is what I got at Spotlight again, the exact same time when I bought this yarn, because they were having a huge clearance sale. And I purchased this because it was on sale, and I'd seen it before. But since now I know how to crochet, I was like, I'm going to give it a go. And so I'm not sure what this is. It's called DIY Granny Square Bag. These are the instructions. I don't know if you can see it. But it's like this, it's a bag. And it's super cute because it comes with its own handles. And I feel like that's what sold me on the whole thing. And so in the kit, you get all of the yarn you need and the handles. And I've been slowly making each of the squares. The instructions tell you how many squares you need for each like color combination. And I think I finished 2 of the sets of squares, and then I have 2 more sets of squares to go. So I've got 9 more squares to make. And I'll give you an example just so that you can see. It's like 100% cotton. I've never crocheted with cotton before, and I know it's like a very popular... This is me coming from like a non-crochet background. Like in my mind, it's like you always see cotton, like cotton yarn for crochet. I've never crocheted with cotton yarn before. And it's okay. I feel like at the beginning there was a bit of an adjustment because like it doesn't have that much give. It's like very like, I don't know what word I'm looking for, but it doesn't have that much give. It's not like stretchy or anything. So there was a bit of adjustment to learn how to crochet with it. But I think they're turning out pretty good. And it's just like getting through all the granny squares and like making all of the ones that you need to make. So you see they give you a set amount of colors and then you make different combinations of the squares. So this is one type of square and this is another type of square. And I feel like the colors are really... I picked this one because I thought that this was the nicest. It had the nicest colors. It had like a rainbow one and like... But I picked this one obviously because it's brown. Because I love brown. But also it has green and purple and orange, which are all... Like all of these colors I love. So I was like, how can I not get it? But yeah, that's another whip. This is a good one. I actually haven't crocheted any of these squares for a long time. But this is a good one. I feel like cotton is very much something that you do in summer because crocheting or knitting with cotton is a lot easier than like wool, like 100% wool or merino yarn or something like that. Oh, and I'll show you what the little balls look like. It's actually so cute. I actually have one more whip that I actually forgot to bring over. And I just realized while I was talking. So I'm going to go and get that really quickly. Oh my God. I was searching around everywhere for it and I was like, was I imagining this whip? But no, it was on my sofa. Once again, I cannot remember what this pattern is called, but I feel like it's at a really awkward stage, so you can't really tell what it is. But it is another baby sweater, because I literally can't help myself. And this is using Patterns Big Baby. So I'm using the exact same yarn that I use on the Mindless sweater here. But instead of this tan, I'm using like another gray that I have lying around. I have so much gray, so I was like, I should just make another sweater with this gray. And it's such an adorable design. I'll probably put a picture here. It's open, it opens up, which is why there's a gap here. But there's like a button band where you can just sew on the buttons and then it buttons up here. and then it's a long sleeve. I'm up to the body here, and this is on 3mm needles, which is probably why it's taking forever. I haven't picked this up in a while, but I got through the body relatively quickly. The increases were insane. It was like I was starting off with like, it's a free pattern, by the way. I was like, we started with 50 stitches and then we had to increase it all the way up to 200 and something. So literally I felt like I was increasing. There they are. I felt like I was increasing like forever. It took forever to get where I needed to get to. But don't you love the striping? So the intention of the pattern was that you would have some self-striping yarn and then you would have a plain body. But I didn't really have any self-striping yarn that was enough to make this. So I just like striped it myself. And I think it turned out really good. And so the body's just going to be the gray because I have so much of this gray. I just want to get rid of it. So the body's going to be gray and so will the sleeves and the button band. And it's looking really big. So like, again, I'm like, is this going to be something that I keep for myself? I wouldn't be surprised. But that's really cute. Okay, and then my last whip, which is one that you've seen for a while, but I've literally had to change bags because the bag that I had it in before was like overflowing, and I said, this is getting ridiculous, I need to put it into another bag. And this was the best one I could find because all my Ziploc bags were too small. And this is where I'm keeping all my granny squares. And I've done a count of how many I have, and I have 90 squares now. It's awful because all of my ends, I haven't I've crocheted my ends in, but I haven't snipped them because I kind of want to reinforce it a little bit more. Oh my God, I just dropped on. I want to reinforce it a little bit more before I completely snip them off. So I'm going to leave that to last. I already hear you already. You're probably thinking that's the worst idea ever. Everyone knows that you should be sewing in your ends as you go. Well, whatever, it is what it is. Yeah, so I've got 90 squares now. I did take a picture a while ago. I'll put it here of my progress. But I think I had 80 something there. But now I have over 90 squares. But I think you get the general idea. And I'm kind of annoyed because I was like, oh, 90 sounds like the right amount. And then I can put them all together. But then I put them on the floor and I was like, it's still not big enough. Because these squares are pretty small. They're not those big squares. It's a little one. They're only 4 rounds. And so I think it's going to take a lot longer. I'm almost I think I need double this amount. But I'm also not mad because the whole reason why I started this project is because I have lots of leftover acrylic yarn just lying around. That's kind of a DK weight. And I didn't really know what to do with it. And so I'm just making granny squares out of it. And I've got plenty more of that acrylic yarn. So I'm if I still have yarn, then I can still make granny squares. And that's the whole point of this project. So it's fine. But yeah, I for a long time I was oh, this is so ugly. It's ugly. Because all of the colors are not really matching. But I think once it's all put together, it's gonna look really cool and retro. I feel that's the charm of granny squares. They can just be all different kinds of colors, and then once you put them all together, it's gonna look good either way. So I'm pretty excited for this. But yeah, I'm probably only halfway there. Which is a bit disheartening, but what can you do? Okay, that was all of my whips. Let's move on to Stashquisitions. I am going to go through this pretty quickly, only because most of these I had talked about in my Fiber Frolic video. But watch me talk about them just in depth, just as much as I did in that video. I wouldn't be surprised. Anyway, okay, starting with this one. This one is really exciting. So last month was my birthday. And my partner surprised me and took me to one of the yarn shops in the city. And he bought me a yarn winder. And this is the KnitPro one. I love this thing. It is so great. And it's honestly dangerous because now it's winding something up, like a new skein up, is so easy and quick. But let me just say that there is actually a bit of a learning curve with this thing. Like, I thought it was going to be so easy, but even now I struggle a little bit to use it, only because like of this arm. The position of this arm like really affects if the yarn gets on this like holder, or if it gets under it or goes over the holder. And when you're working with, like, for example, when I was winding the yarn for this beanie, like I actually had to take it off and just hand wind it at the end, because the skein got so fat that it's like this little arm, which guides the yarn around it, kept getting caught either over or under it because it was just so wide. And I was thinking, I was like, I need to like watch a tutorial or something, because I thought it was pretty self-explainable, but it's not. Like, you actually, I feel like there's a technique to it. But I really enjoy it. This is really good, and I think this was a really good investment because it just makes my life easier, and it also makes my partner's life easier, because he's usually the one that's like sitting there with this, like with the skein around his arm, just sitting there like this while I'm like winding up the ball. So I think we were both happy with that purchase. So this is all the stuff from Fiber Frolic. I have purchased these two pattern books from Sip Knit Yarn, and it was their closing down sale. And essentially, when I was talking to the husband, it's a husband and wife company. I was talking to the husband, and he literally like sold me so quickly on these pattern books. So this first one here is it's a pattern for one blanket, but this one blanket has like multiple patterns, if you can see that. So it's called the Textured Sampler Knee Rug, and it's amazing. I was looking at this pattern book, and it's like super, super detailed. It tells you all of the patterns for the different like stitches, but it also tells you where to increase and decrease when you're like transferring from one pattern to another. And what's also really helpful is that she has like alternative patterns. So like if you come across a pattern that you think is too hard, like there's lots of cables in here, which I'm kind of scared of, but that's what I want to try. I want to try cables. But they have, like she says, if you don't want to use a pattern in the original pattern, here are some alternatives that you can use instead. And then at the end of the book, it shows you all of the samples that people made. So she was a part of the Knitters Guild, and her group knitted this blanket pattern alongside her. So they knitted 1 square per month, and so they all finished at the same time. I thought that was so cute. And so those are their interpretations of the pattern. So I'm really excited to do this one. I feel like it's structured in a way that each square is meant to be a month. And then, of course, in my mind, I'm like, 1 square per month. That's like easy and digestible. I could do that, you know? And so I'm thinking maybe this could be a New Year like project where I start the first square next year. I've been hunting around for some yarn. The only thing is that like it can have a max 13 different colors, and I'm like, that's too much. Like, can you imagine trying to figure out 13 different colors for a project? Like, that's too overwhelming. And so I was thinking more like 6, because you need 600 grams in total for this project. And I was like, it's easier because then it's just like 100 grams per color, which I feel like is slightly less intimidating than 13 colors. But yeah, I've been really struggling trying to figure out a color scheme for my blanket. I'm so crazy about color, like it's like so hard for me to not just like do what this woman did and do like just like full on rainbow. But I'm like, oh, I want it to be like more like sophisticated. Like I want it to be, I don't know if I'm using the right words, but like a bit more modern. I don't know. Like I'll have to figure it out. I tried before trying to look for colors and I couldn't figure it out, so I'll probably have to keep searching. Okay, and the second pattern book that I got from Sip Knit Yarn, I don't know why that's so hard to remember. Sip Knit Yarn is this Best Baby Blankets book. It is adorable. There are so many baby patterns in here. There's 9 in total. and they're really adorable. And it's really funny because I'm always looking for baby blankets on Ravelry, but none are like to my liking. Like this one, I feel like they're like very like classic, like almost like vintage style baby blankets. Like look at that little sheep motif. Like maybe people hate these patterns like because they're like a bit old-fashioned, but I love them. They're so cute. Like look at this baby. He looks so happy that he has that blanket. Like so adorable. And there's like one for balloons, so they're like little balloon blanket. I don't know, that was really cute, and I feel like it was really good value because it's 9 blanket patterns for $10. I feel like usually a baby blanket pattern like of this detail is like $10 like each. And I got 9 for $10. It's like $1 per pattern essentially. And same with this one. Like this one is like significantly thicker, only because this one's like way more complicated. And even though it's one blanket, you get so many like stitch patterns that I feel like you could take out and like implement in a different pattern or a different blanket. And there's so many like diagrams and really helpful stuff for you to like keep track of this, because I feel like it's really easy for you to like get lost in all of this, like the stitches and the textures and everything. But I feel like this book was really made to make sure that you don't get lost. And so those are my 2 pattern books that I got. The next thing is me adding more yarn to an existing whip that I have. It is this Stephen West 2022 MCAL shawl, and that finished ages ago. It finished late last month, and I have the 2022 one, so it's literally a year old now. And this has been in my whip pile for a really long time, and it's really sad because I just like don't want to finish it. It was just like, so I got up to clue 2, like more than halfway through clue 2. I had the cables to do on these bat wings, and I just never did them because I was struggling so much. And so before I went to this fiber frolic, I was thinking I should purchase some yarn so I'm able to frog this and start something new. And so that's what I did. So most of this yarn here I got from Jokamamo yarns. So these 2 colorways I got from Jokamamo yarns. This is Autumn Walk, and it's like a speckle yarn. It's white with green, orange, and blue speckles. And then this one is like, I think it was called Moss Green. I think that's what it was called. And it's like this wasabi green color with dark green speckles in it. And then this last one I purchased from somewhere different entirely. I got this from the Australian Wool store. And it's like this super vibrant orange. I love that. Orange is like my guilty pleasure. I never wear it, but I love the color. And so I found this pattern for a crochet shawl on Ravelry. I'll put a picture here. I've forgotten what it's called again, even though I'm literally talking about it a second time. I can't remember. And it calls for 5 colors, and I only had 3. And so I went to the Jokamamo store because I knew that they were going to be there. And I felt that it was easier to purchase yarn from the same place that I got majority of the yarn that I already have, because I feel like lots of yarn vendors have like their own color story that's like pretty consistent across all of their yarns. And I felt like if I stuck with them, it'd be easier for me to pick colors that are more like in harmony with each other. I don't know if that makes sense. Anyway, so I was standing there at her store, and I was with my sister and my mom, and I was saying, oh, I've got this color, and I've got this color, and I've got this color, because she literally had them on the shelf, these 3 colors. She had like a really similar orange, which is really funny. So I was like, I have this kind of orange, I have this green, and I've got this. What I need 2 more colors. What would match? And she overheard me talking, and thank goodness, because she really helped me. And she said, well, you know what? This green color that you picked and this white color, the colors are actually in each other. So in this white one, there's the green. There's like the speckles of the green in there from this color. And then in this color, there's speckles of blue, which is in this color. And when you look at this, it looks like a dark green. Like the speckles look dark green, but it's actually a blue. So these are already matching. And then she said, if you want to get that blue to tie it together, it's this blue right here. And so of course I got it. Of course I got it because I was like, to get the set, I should get the blue because it's going to match. And I'm in love with this blue. It's just so vibrant and beautiful. And I tried pronouncing the name of this color in my last video, and my partner still said to me I said it wrong, so I'm not going to say it. But that's the color name. I'm not even going to attempt to say it again. Love. And so then I had one last color to choose from, and I kind of went out of my comfort zone. I was initially going to pick a brown, as per usual. I was going to pick a brown because I was kind of like, with the orange, it could give it like more of like an autumn kind of situation. But then I came across this color, and I just thought it was so interesting because it's like a neutral. It's like this gray, misty purple, and the colorway is called Eggplant. And it's like a little bit speckled. It's like a little bit speckled with like, I think like a dark purple. And I just thought it was like an interesting like color to throw into the mix. Because also my sister was like, it's more cool toned, this color. And the brown that I was going to pick was more warm toned. And I've always thought, I've never had a color analysis done on myself. I would love to, where they like tell you what your undertone is and blah, blah, blah. I've always thought I was cool toned. Usually when people say, I think I'm this, they're usually the opposite. So I could be warm toned, but I've always thought I was cool toned. And so that's why I went for this gray purple color. And when I put all the colors together, oh my god, I need to be like an octopus to hold all of this stuff. But if you put it all together, I feel like it's like a very interesting sort of combination. And the shawl itself, like, I feel like it like makes sure that all of the colors mingle together. So I think it'll be like pretty cohesive as soon as like, you know, all these colors are combined with each other. But yeah, that's like my New Year's like project. I'm going to cast that on. I'm not going to cast it on now because I've got way too many whips. And plus, I'm not going to allow myself to cast on until I frog this shawl. Otherwise, it's like actions have consequences. Like if I'm going to start something new, I need to get rid of what I already have. So yeah, so that's very exciting. It's exciting to like plan for the new year. Like I'm like slowly preparing. Like I've got my patterns, I've got that project, so I'm pretty excited for that. And then the last, this is like ending really anticlimactically, but the last Stashquisition that I have is this mini Skein, which is so funny because look, I feel like I'm wearing this color. And again, I bought this for my memory blanket. I haven't added a square to it yet, but this is from Jokamamo yarns as well, and it's in the colorway Bubblegum. Isn't that fun? My sister picked this color for me in particular, so it's like a very cool toned pink. It's like, it's coming across more pink, but in real life, it's almost like a fluoro purpley pink. Like, I don't know if magenta is the right color, but it's like a little bit purpley, so it's like a really interesting color. I think that's everything. That felt like so much. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that. Thank you so much for watching this far. And I hope you've had a great month. And I hope that this month is just as great, if not better. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.